Monster trucks come in all different shapes and sizes, but one of the most commonly created monster trucks throughout the course of history are trucks that are based off of animals. There's no shock that there are so many different animal-themed trucks throughout the course of Monster Jam history and monster truck history. So today, we're doing another top 10 video on the top 10 animal monster trucks. Now, there are three things that I'm basing this list off of. Number one, how much I like the truck. That has the most merit out of all of this. The second most thing that is influencing it is how successful / well-known the truck is. If it's a truck that I like a lot, but no one's ever even heard it before, well, it's not going to crack the list. And the third most important thing for this list is how much it actually resembles the animal it's trying to resemble. Obviously, I'm not holding that to it a ton, but if you've got a truck that's really successful that I like and really looks just like that animal, well, it's going to find itself pretty high on this list today. Before we get into this list, we're going to get started with some honorable mentions, and there's two that we've got in today's video. Both of these I wanted to crack the top 10, but just didn't quite have the extra oomph to get into there. The first honorable mention we have is Frostbite. This is one of the newer independent monster trucks that was released in the last couple of years, and this truck is based off of a polar bear, and let me tell you, this is such a fan favorite for me. Once I saw this truck drive for the very first time on YouTube, I loved it. I can't wait to hopefully see this thing in person someday. It really stands out, and it really captures the essence of the animal monster truck style. The only reason why it doesn't crack the list, it's brand new, it doesn't have any sort of legacy to it, and there's a lot of trucks that are very cool like this that don't have the legacy behind it, but Frostbite just looks so awesome that I could see this being in the top 10 in the next couple of years. The second honorable mention that we have today is a truck from Australia. That is the Outback Thunder. For those of you who've played Monster Truck Destruction on mobile devices, you most definitely know this truck. Outback Thunder is one of those trucks in the game that I used all the time. I definitely have a special spot in my heart for the Outback Thunder monster truck. And I'll tell you, this truck just looks really cool. It's representing a horse of sorts. It's awesome. It's got a really unique look to it. It doesn't quite crack the top 10 just because it doesn't quite, I don't know, something about it. When you see the top 10, you'll understand why Outback Thunder doesn't quite crack the top 10. But I had to talk about it today because this truck's just awesome. So we get into the top 10, and starting off at number 10, we have a truck that was very, very popular in the early 2000s. This is Predator. Now, Predator, still around today, actually. Alan Pizzo, the longtime driver of Predator, has driven this truck for, I think, over 30 years now, which is very hard to believe, but Alan Pizzo has driven this truck a ton. It was very popular. It had a lot of history behind it, and it also is a very cool looking truck. I don't love Predator very much, which is why it's lower on this list, but you want to talk about history and legacy. Well, Predator definitely has some of the higher amount of legacy for an animal themed truck, so that's why it cracks the top 10. It is low on the list because I don't quite love it as much, but it definitely also really does resemble an animal very well. They really hit the nail on the head with the design of this thing, especially at the time that this truck came out. This was one of a kind back then. So Predator gets the number 10 spot. Sliding up to number 9, we have Brutus. Brutus, one of the Team Scream trucks, still very much driving today, and Brutus has been a very dominant force in the monster truck world for over a decade and a half now. Brutus has been around. It has always stuck around. You could see it at a ton of shows, mostly in the Midwest, because that's where Team Scream does a lot of their shows, but Brutus has been really a big part of monster trucks and Monster Jam for the last 15 years. It's been in multiple world finals, it's competed in tons of independent events, and it's a very cool looking truck. I mean, it's not exactly what you would expect for a dog, but I mean, for a truck that was released at the time that it was, Brutus was definitely a standout amongst the animal themed trucks, so it gets number 9. The number 8 spot on today's list is Jurassic Attack. Jurassic Attack is a very legendary monster truck throughout the entire course of monster truck history. A truck that represents a dinosaur. I don't know which one exactly. You dinosaur nerds, let me know in the comments because I don't know. But Jurassic Attack is just an awesome truck. This thing is pretty. It's come back really heavily in the last couple of years. It was gone for like 7 or 8 years, but now it's back, and it has been dominating the Monster Jam circuit. We've had Dalton Widener driving it the last couple of years. Now Tim Hall Jr. is going to be the main Jurassic Attack driver. Just such a cool truck, and Team Throttle Monster's done an awesome job at putting different designs on this thing. There's a couple reasons why it's not higher on the list, because well, the paint job itself doesn't exactly represent an animal very well, and it also, I don't know, it hasn't had a ton of success throughout its history, but it is still a very cool truck, and I wanted to put it on this top 10, so it lands at number 8. At number 7, we have Velociraptor, another member of Team Throttle Monster. Velociraptor, a truck that debuted just a couple of years ago, and this truck has quickly risen to one of the coolest independent monster trucks out there. I love Velociraptor. I'm a big Velociraptor fan. I have a Velociraptor t-shirt, and the way Team Throttle Monster designed this body made it look so cool. I mean, I don't know what a Velociraptor looks like, but if I had to imagine, that truck pretty firmly represents what a Velociraptor would look like. I mean, you want to talk about how much it resembles the animal, you get a 10 out of 10 on that. And this truck's also fairly well known, and I do like it a lot. So for it to be at number 7 really tells you how good the top 6 are on this list. I mean, this truck certainly hits all 3 marks that I talked about in the beginning of the video very well, but it's still, because it hasn't been around long enough and had the success, it only finds itself at number 7, but still one of the best animal trucks of all time. Coming in at number 6, we have Tailgator. Tailgator, awesome truck, driven by Tim Jones, and he has put Tailgator on the map with his driving style. And the last 3 spots have been very similar looking trucks. Tailgator's more of obviously a crocodile or an alligator, but still, well, it's obviously an alligator, Tailgator, duh, but still, it doesn't change the fact that we're kind of in a very similar theme of trucks. We're kind of getting away from the dogs and the cats, and we're now onto the scarier of the animals with Tailgator here. And Tailgator, while it doesn't necessarily resemble a gator as much as maybe an exterminator used to, Tailgator still has a cool look. The reason why it's in the number 6 spot is because, first off, I love this truck, and secondly, Tim Jones has, again, put this truck on the map. You go to an independent show that Tailgator is at, you know you're going to get every single ounce of energy that Tim Jones has in him that night. There's a high likelihood Tailgator is not driving off the track, so it gets the number 6 spot on this list. Up to the prestigious top 5, and in the number 5 spot, Crush Station. This is such a special truck in monster truck history. I remember when Crush Station came out. When this truck was announced, it took the entire monster truck world by storm, because nobody had ever thought of doing a lobster monster truck. It's called the Monster Lobster because it's a lobster, and they nailed it. I mean, Greg Winchenbach nailed this truck. It literally is a lobster. I mean, there is no difference between that body and an actual lobster at all. He's even got the claws. He had the claws wrapped originally to represent a lobster that's in a food store. So talk about how much it resembles the animal. That's an 11 out of 10. And well known, Crush Station has absolutely become so popular over its lifetime. And I love this truck. I mean, it is a perfect truck to put on this list, so I put it at number 5. As we get into the number 4 spot, we have Megalodon, and the top 4 are really now getting into the trucks that are very popular, which is why they are cracking into the top 4 on this list. So you're all going to have known and loved these trucks probably at one point in your life, and Megalodon is the number 4 spot, based on a shark, more specifically based on the Megalodon, which is a fictional shark that is just a giant shark. Obviously, there's no proof of this having ever existed, but Megalodon does get its way onto this list because, I'll tell you what, it's just popular. The fans love Megalodon. It's a perfect representation of a shark, and this truck's been around for a while. The only reason why it's not higher on this list is because it doesn't have the success to go for it. Megalodon just won its first ever World Finals Championship, with Todd the Duke winning the Racing Championship this year, so this truck doesn't have the history for it. If it had a little bit of a better history, probably would be higher on this list, but for now, it'll take the number 4. At number 3, we have El Toro Loco, another big fan favorite. I also realized I didn't mention this earlier on in the video, and if you're still watching at this point, you will want to know. I didn't include any animals on this list that were like fictional animals, like no Donkey Kong or Taz, and I also pulled all of these trucks from the animal-based trucks category on the Monster Trucks Wiki. So if a truck wasn't in that specific category, it is not considered for this video. And also, on top of that, not every truck that is in there was a truck that I considered. Like, for example, Bakugan Dragonoid was on there. I don't count that. I'm talking about a physical animal. I don't want to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's not a real-life animal. I could do an entire other video on something like that, but for today, I wanted to keep it very realistic, and so that's why we are where we are. So number 3, El Toro Loco, just getting back to this, a very popular truck, one of the most fan favorites. If you were to ask every single fan at every single monster truck show, at Monster Jam show, what their favorite monster truck is, I guarantee you El Toro Loco would probably place in the top 3, if not top 2. So, very popular truck that the fans love. It's got a hell of a history, and it definitely has that cool animal representation. It's not exact. I mean, this is obviously not what a bull looks like, but it really is close. It keeps that cool fictionality of it that makes it kind of a cool, creative monster truck design, but also does represent what a bull is, with the horns and the teeth, and obviously the smoke coming out of the nose is a nice added touch as well. So El Toro Loco finds itself on a lot of top 10s, and it is here at number 3 in the top 10 animal trucks. At number 2, we have the long-lost brother of El Toro Loco, Bulldozer, and this one gets the number 2 spot above El Toro Loco simply because Bulldozer is one of my favorite trucks of all time. I just love it way more, and to be honest, you also can make the argument that it resembles a bull probably more than El Toro Loco does. I've never seen a bull be bright orange. I've also never seen a bull be yellow, but I'd say Bulldozer kind of has the texture on it that represents a bull's hair, so you can make the argument, and I'm going to make it, that Bulldozer is closer to looking like an actual bull than El Toro Loco is. Very cool truck. I am still so sad this truck doesn't drive anymore because it is one of my favorites of all time. Probably one of many people's favorite retired monster trucks. I did do a list on my top, I think it was top 20 retired monster trucks, and Bulldozer was high on that list, so it finds itself at number 2 in the top 10 animal trucks. Just a legendary monster truck, and it deserves to be on the list. Now at number 1, the greatest animal truck of all time, Monster Mutt. Now Monster Mutt, this is a classic monster truck. I mean, this thing has been around since literally year 1 of Monster Jam. I mean, the only other truck that can say that, I don't even know if El Toro Loco can say that, I'm pretty sure it can't. Monster Mutt has just been a staple of the sport. It always seems to find a way to stay relevant, to stay around, to have someone driving it. No matter where it is or who it is, you can usually find Monster Mutt somewhere during the course of the year, unless it's 2025. But, which, didn't someone drive it this year? I don't know, I don't remember. But, regardless, Monster Mutt is just a legendary truck. It has a World Finals Championship to its name. It almost had another one when Charlie Pauken almost won one. It almost had 2 other ones, actually. So, Monster Mutt has just had a great history. It's had a lot of legendary drivers behind the wheel of it as well. And it also does represent a dog. I mean, it's got the flappy ears, it's got the teeth, it's got the nose. Everyone loves Monster Mutt. I don't know a single person who doesn't like this truck. So that's a very big thing going for it. So I couldn't think of another truck that I would want to put above it. When I saw that name, I said, Monster Mutt's got to be number 1. And I don't know of any other trucks that could eclipse that for me. If you could think of one, let me know. Comment below any truck you think should dethrone the Monster Mutt. But for right now, I'm going to stick with it as Monster Mutt being the number 1 animal monster truck of all time. So with that, that's going to do it for the top 10 list. This list, and making this list, it made me realize I'm going to do a future video on top 10 dog monster trucks, because the amount of those that there are is ridiculous as well. This list was really hard to make. There are so many trucks that I wanted to put in here, and I just had to narrow it down to a 10. Top 15 didn't quite feel right, so top 10 just had to be it, and these were really, really solid picks. I mean, so many of these trucks could have been moved around, so let me know in the comments what your top 10 list would be. What did I miss? Was there a truck you heavily disagree with for being on this list? A truck you heavily disagree not being on this list? Let me know. I'm always very much open to it. Let me know any suggestions for future top 10s I could do. Please like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so that I can see you all in the next one.